In June 1942, the fate of the Pacific hung by a thread. Just 6 months earlier, Japan had struck Pearl Harbor, dragging the United States into war. Since then, Japanese forces had swept across Southeast Asia and the Pacific, appearing unstoppable. But Japan knew that to secure true dominance, it needed to eliminate America's remaining aircraft carriers. Their bold plan: lure the US fleet into a trap near Midway Atoll, crush it, and secure total control of the Pacific. However, Japan's plan had a fatal flaw. The Americans were listening. In Pearl Harbor, a group of Navy codebreakers known as Station Hypo, led by Commander Joseph Rochefort, worked day and night to crack Japan's naval code, JN-25. Through endless analysis and daring deductions, they discovered that AF referred to Midway. To confirm, they sent a fake message claiming Midway's water system had failed. When Japanese intercepts mentioned AF lacking water, the Americans knew they were right. Armed with this vital intelligence, Admiral Chester Nimitz prepared a bold counter-strategy. 3 U.S. carriers, Enterprise, Hornet, and the hastily repaired Yorktowns, steamed to a position northeast of Midway, ready to spring an ambush. On June 4th, 1942, the battle began. At dawn, Japanese bombers struck Midway, hoping to crush its defenses, but the island's gunners fought back, fiercely, while waves of American planes launched desperate attacks from both Midway and the carriers. The first assaults, led by torpedo squadrons, were almost suicidal. Pilots flew outdated planes straight into swarms of Japanese Zeros. Of 41 torpedo bombers, only a few survived, and none scored a hit. But their sacrifice wasn't in vain. While Japanese fighters stayed low to chase torpedo bombers, they left the skies above vulnerable. Then came the decisive moment. At 10:20 a.m., American dive bombers from Enterprise and Yorktown arrived above the Japanese fleet. Below them sat Kaga, Akagi, and Soryu, their decks cluttered with fueled planes preparing for a second strike. In minutes, bombs tore through the ships, igniting massive fires and exploding munitions. Only Hiryu remained operational. Hiryu launched a counterattack that heavily damaged the USS Yorktown. But later that day, American bombers located Hiryu and set it ablaze, sealing its fate. By June 5th, Japan had lost 4 carriers, over 250 aircraft, and many of its best pilots, a blow from which the Imperial Navy would never fully recover. For the United States, the loss of Yorktown and around 150 planes was significant, but strategically, the victory was monumental and reshaped the entire war. Midway marked a decisive shift. Before this battle, Japan dictated the war's pace, expanding rapidly and striking fear across the Pacific. After Midway, they were forced onto the defensive, gradually losing the initiative they had seized so confidently after Pearl Harbor. Beyond tactics and numbers, Midway was a story of raw courage and brilliant strategy. Pilots like Lieutenant Commander Wade McCluskey, who led his dive bombers despite dangerously low fuel, made life-or-death decisions in seconds that would change history. Lieutenant Commander John Waldron's Torpedo Squadron 8 attacked, knowing they might never return, their sacrifice opening the door for the decisive blow from above. Meanwhile, the unsung heroes at Station Hypo worked tirelessly in windowless rooms, decoding messages that would save lives and shift the fate of nations. Their silent brilliance turned intercepted fragments into victory, proving that intelligence could win battles before a single shot was fired. In Japan, the loss at Midway shattered the aura of invincibility surrounding their navy. It forced leaders to rethink strategy, while the loss of so many experienced aviators was an irreplaceable setback that weakened future operations. For America, Midway sparked a wave of hope and unity. It showed that with determination, ingenuity, and sacrifice, a nation could overcome overwhelming odds. After Midway, U.S. forces launched offensives across the Pacific. From Guadalcanal to Tarawa, each island seized, pushing them closer to Japan's doorstep. The victory at Midway laid the foundation for this long but unstoppable advance. Today, the Battle of Midway stands as one of the greatest naval triumphs in history. It reminds us that wars are not won by sheer force alone, but by strategy, bravery, and the unwavering spirit to fight when everything is on the line. Midway wasn't just a battle, it was a turning point, a moment when the tide turned and the Pacific balance shifted forever. If you enjoyed this story of one of World War II's most pivotal moments, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more stories that shaped our world.